So over the course of the last week, I've seen 2 articles pop up on Kotaku which actually really caught my eye. The Metroid Prime 2 fan remake, and the second one was a fan-made game called Pokemon Uranium, which is essentially a fan-made version of the Pokemon handheld games, and it was made, I believe, from scratch. And from what I can tell reading online and watching on YouTube, is that both games look like they've had a lot of love put into them. And I understand that the Metroid Prime game is a remake, but you can tell that a lot of work and a lot of time has gone into just bringing the game back up to scratch. And you can tell that it's a real labour of love, and I think the fans have really appreciated it. Now, unfortunately, the Metroid 2 remake and the creators of the game, or the remakers of the game, have been slapped with a stop and desist action by Nintendo, which basically means if they do not take down the game and stop promoting it, they're probably going to have Nintendo take legal action against them. And you know what? In my opinion, as far as I'm concerned, yes, it's fantastic that these guys were passionate enough to remake this game for today's gamers and meet today's standards visually. And I'm certainly not knocking them or having a go at them for doing so. And even though they're distributing it for free as just a passion project and for the fans, it's just not really their right to distribute something that isn't theirs to begin with. So I'm not at all surprised that we've seen Nintendo slap them with a claim. On the other side of the fence, we have Pokemon Uranium. And this game's been 9 years in the making. It sports online and trading and battling, has 150 new Pokemon, albeit unofficial Pokemon. And it's basically your classic handheld Pokemon game, except they've gone ahead and made it from scratch themselves, rather than remaking it much like the Metroid Prime 2 remake. And it actually released a couple of days ago after 9 long years in development. And again, I'm not knocking them here at all, and I think it's a case of good fucking on them for being passionate enough to go ahead and spend 9 years of your life creating an entry into a long-running series, albeit not an official entry. From what I've been reading online, it seems that they've actually done a really fantastic job of creating this game. And again, because they don't own the IP, we're probably going to see them get hit with a stop and desist action from Nintendo. And this leads me to the point I want to make with this video. If you're passionate enough and skilled enough to make a game and dedicate 9+ years of your life, and in the Metroid example, easily a few years of your life developing a game, even if it is just a remake, then why don't you think about actually going out and creating your own IP? And I understand that it's a fan remake and it's done because they're passionate about the game and they want it to keep living and breathing. However, in the back of my head, I can't help but feel that somewhere in their head, they knew that they could have gone out and spent the same amount of time creating their own IP and their own world, and eventually being legitimately recognized for it, and even maybe making a few bucks off it on Steam Early Access or having an actual Steam launch. But I don't know, maybe they did it because they knew that the franchises are so popular and that them remaking or making a version of that series will get them recognition. Maybe they fear that if they make their own game, it'll just get lost in the abyss of all the other games that are made. However, you can't tell me they didn't think that they weren't going to be slapped with a stop and desist action by Nintendo. I mean, unless you live under a rock, you know that Nintendo throw claims left, right and center to block people using their IPs and content, even on YouTube. But who knows, maybe I just don't understand the mentality of these developers and these obviously super fans of these series. Maybe they do just legitimately enjoy recreating and remastering these series that they are just so insanely in love with. And to them, spending 9 years of their life doing it is well worth it. And I guess, at the end of the day, people will get their hands on these games no matter what, because even though they stop hosting on their site, someone else is going to go host it on a torrent site somewhere else. Alright guys, that's my opinion in a nutshell. And you know what, if you're an indie developer or just a developer in general who enjoys just creating or even maybe recreating content, let me know what you think down in the comments. As always guys, if you enjoyed this video, smash that thumbs up button, drop me a comment and hit that sub button. Also, I have my Twitter down in the description, so don't even think about it, just go follow me. I'm Sully and I'll catch you later.